fuck, we're ready.
Three. All right.
So, I am gonna do something extra just because I know that we're gonna need this. So pardon the little delay. Where is it? Just to give some substance. I don't know, it just helps every time we do this roleplay stuff, especially since we're doing the vocal one now.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
So where will we leave off? Oh yes. So as Majesty and what's his face? Yes, Majesty and
Oh, so we're following those four. Or
uh
five, I should say.
what rules?
What?
Oh, you said rules and I got confused for a second.
No, I said we're following those four.
Ye
With Void Techno and them.
yes.
Okay, then the people there were Void Techno with his sword Chronos, Majesty Steve, and Alex, I think.
Yes.
And then there was the Twisted King.
Yep, the Twisted King.
Yep, okay.
Yep. So, as they're walking through, they finally get to their destination. And keep in mind, they're in the past. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like all the way back. Yeah, they're back in the past, basically.
Mm.
And I mean the way past.
Yeah, I know.
So, because of the paradox going on, they're literally sent back. Well, I'm just going to give some context, basically. A little bit. Just a little
Go
bit.
ahead. I just imagine the both of us at a campfire doing this.
That'd be pretty funny, too.
But yeah, continue.
So, as they're going about their day, as they normally would, they finally make it, and Void Techna's like, "Ah, Eureka! We made it!"
I don't think Void Techno sound like that, but okay.
Look, I'm doing the best I can. I kind of forgot how he sounds.
He didn't sound like the air Technos. He was a bit more calm, I think.
Oh, yes. Eureka! We made it. We are here, my gentlemen. Basically affirming to us that they made it to their destination.
Yep. And Lord Necronis is, well, not saying much.
You
Kind of
know,
just taking it all in for the meantime.
yes. Also, for context sake, that is Techna's sword. It is a
Yes,
living being.
I know.
I know,
Yes.
but for the audience, they don't
Oh
know
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Lord Necronis is one of my characters who is trapped in a sword.
Yep. It'll make sense in due time.
Bear with us.
for the most part. But as we continue, so Lord, let's see, not Lord, what was it? Yes, Lord Necrotos and Techna. So he's like, we've made it, and they stand before a winter area in the next gen king's empire.
Hmm.
Yep.
I got nothing for Lord Necronus right now, so.
Majesty. Ah, wonderful. Ah, this is gonna be so good. I can hardly believe it. Yep. So
Hmm.
as he can hardly believe it, Majesty Alex is showing no interest. Only telling them, let's get this over with.
Lord Necronus just remarks, straight to the point. I like her.
Well, clearly she is Majesty's sister. And as they go into the castle, guess what happens next?
Banjo music.
Banjo music? No. Well, that would be funny. But no. The guards at the gate are like, halt, intruders! You will not pass us! State your purpose and your business. Wojtekna assures them that they are not here for any harm. The guards have a hard time believing this until the next gen king steps down from watching all of this and he's like, settle down, guards. This is my apartment. Who are you? I am Void Techna. These are my associates, Majesty Alex, Majesty Steve, and their pet. The Mexican king would be very pleased and puzzled at this, and says, what do you have to offer me? And why would you show up at my doorstep, no strings attached? Because we are from the future, good sir. Your future. Impossible. Prove it. Energy John. Ring a bell? There is someone named John. Energy. But they are the last of their kind after I wiped them out, or recruited them to my ranks. As those two guards have glowing yellow eyes out of their shells of armor.
Oh shit, wait, that means they can detect energy, right?
What?
Oh shit, that means they can detect energy, right?
Yep.
Well, they would be able to notice that the sword Vortechna is carrying is emitting some sort of energy.
They don't like that sword. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Fair enough. But continue.
So as they were going on in their daily activities, there is another thing. Void Void Techna assures them that they are definitely not here to harm them. And presents the proof by literally psychologically sending him messages of the future. His future. And guess what happens next?
Mm.
After the next gen Empire King sees that, this is his reaction. You are from my future. So, what do I have the pleasure of meeting someone from my future? And I bet you're wondering, why does he believe them after he showed them a vision?
Yes.
That's the thing. In the next gen Empire, they're aware of time travel in the multiverse. No one else is except for them.
Fair enough.
This is a timeline that is supposed to be locked, but they are the only forces who actually have knowledge of it. The next gen Empire, well, the next gen King, he's kind of, what do I say this? Part of a very long bloodline, per se, full of
Mm.
treachery.
Uh-huh.
And Energy John's bloodline is part of the bloodline that has always, what's the word, meddled in his affairs.
Mm.
Kind of making them mortal enemies. Basically. Like, very mortal enemies.
We get it. We'll continue.
Yeah, but as they are, you know, doing their thing,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to go about their business as normal as they can. Problem is, he's like, you are from my future. So what do I have the pleasure? And he tells them that they're here to help them because others are trying to stop them. And I bet you're wondering, what kind of others?
Yes.
Let me just put it like bluntly as I can. The other fools who are friends of Energy John. So, and then the Void Techno says him, well, Energy John's friends. He has friends, says the next gen King. I see. Very well, Hisale, come in. No need to dally. Get in now. You're my guest. So they go in. What does the sword think of this?
The Chronos, albeit being quiet, he finds it all interesting.
Like,
Learning things of a different universe.
how interesting we talking?
Interesting enough that he's staying quiet.
Ah,
Focus.
focusing on what? You cut out there.
Hey, pretty much. He's just focusing, pretty much pretending to be a normal ass sword. For the
You know,
most part.
you know what's funny about the next gen King?
Huh?
You, he actually has different colors on him,
Mm-hmm.
as you'll notice. And you want to know why he does?
Why?
Because, funny enough, believe it or not, Energy John? Well, actually, the next gen King, he's not supposed to be there.
Mm.
He's basically an anomaly himself. Well, he was normal until he made himself an anomaly.
Damn, that's how bad he is. He made himself the anomaly.
Well, basically. So yeah, he made himself the anomaly. But you want to know what makes it even funnier?
Hmm.
Not only did he make himself the anomaly, he made himself not only the anomaly, but he made himself, like, how do I put this? He basically, he's human.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the only human in this entire world. Well, technically yes, because he killed them all. Or
Fair
turned
enough.
them into his thralls. Making him the last living human, technically. To an extent. And I bet you're wondering, why is he the last living human?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say there's a long history about that. And they're not called humans in this world. They're called nomads for some reason. Mostly
Eh,
because they don't belong, usually, with all the chromatics.
fair enough.
So, what the sword will notice is that there's this swirling energy around the next gen empire. All these like little orbs and lights swaying around his armor and his helmet and all parts of him. Like he's off in some way. And you wanna know what's funny about those orbs?
Hmm.
They know that the sword is a living being in there. And I bet you're
Mm.
wondering, what's in those orbs?
Yeah.
Living energy. Basically, it's chromatic energy. All the orbs are different colors. You have pink, indigo, purple, orange, light blue, blue, lime green, green, all the colors of the rainbow and more. Even light and darkness in there.
Hmm.
And I bet you're wondering, why is that?
Kind of.
Let me put it like this. There's a reason for it.
Hmm.
And out of nowhere, basically, as they get to this throne hall, he says, "Well, sit down. We have much to discuss about future endeavors, friends." And so, as they're discussing, we cut back to the director of time in the overworld with Timeless Null and the
Nova
two
era.
and all the
And the two
Technas.
techniques. Yep. Your main technique and your German one.
Nine,
Jesus
nine, nine,
Christ.
nine, nine, nine. Anyways, yeah. Back to the show. So the director of time. Ah, don't mind me, just sipping my tea, waiting for you all to make a decision. Breaking the fourth wall casually. Oh, I love him breaking the fourth wall so casually.
Nova era just slowly looking over towards him. Cliche.
He looks at Nova Era. Ah, you're one to talk.
Timeless and all, they're just saying like, "You two gonna do something? Cause we're trying to fucking help this dude."
Oh yes, your friend. He's like, oh yes, your friend. Let me just. He summons a literal TARDIS. And guess what? This
What?
each TARDIS he summons is a different color. This one is yellow.
Timeless and all just asks, "Why is this one yellow?"
Ah, you've noticed my chromatic time machines. Well, it's yellow, and now look at all the cracks forming around it. This is Energy John's timeline. Because it's his timeline. This is how I make my portals.
But Dinosaur just gives a simple thumbs up.
So he says, everyone who's going, please step forward.
Dinosaur just looks at the two Technos and just asks if any of them are going.
They told him, the original Techno, we are going. German Techno, we are almost going. How dare you flicking you. You think we wouldn't go?
Dinosaur with the most deadpan expression just says, "Don't make me pick you up and toss you in there."
Funny he mentions that.
Oh no.
Anyways, so German Techno's like, fine. We don't have time to petty squabble over this. Let's just get in there now. Stat! Wunderbar! Now!
Of course, Dinosaur, being John Energy's friend, decides to go with, well, Nova Era decides to actually stay behind.
I wonder why.
Well, someone's gotta defend him, right?
Oh, Energy John.
Yes.
What do you think the Director of Time is there for?
Fair enough.
Anyone else? And then, oh yeah, wasn't Rex there?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, Rex shows up. He's like, I'm going as well. Because he is also there, because we forgot about him. No, he just chimes in. He's like, did you forget about me again? Oh, I'm so sorry. Memory's a bit shot, Being alive for a long time can do that to you. The Director of Time is just like starting to sip his tea nervously.
Nova Era just says nothing for a short while before he confirms that he would just go with. Since the Echo Nova energy shouldn't tamper with anything.
And the Director of Time says, oh, shouldn't is the correct word. But is it what will happen? Only time will tell the true answers. Literally foreshadowing something there.
Both Nova Era and Time is all picked up on that instantly.
Considering he's seen something, just not all the details.
Yep.
So then he's like, well, is that everyone? As he pulls out a cane while sipping more tea and eating a biscuit with butter.
Tea and crumpets.
Yep, he's eating tea and crumpets, everyone.
We have way too much fun.
Oh, yes, we do. With this. Alright, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, as we're going along with this, and as this is happening, guess what else is happening?
What?
Things are about to get weird. So he's like, well, I think that's everyone. He marks them all and they start glowing yellow. Everyone who's going.
Time Zone just says, damn it, who's pissing on us? Just as a joke.
Director of Time. Now, if you wanted that, I could just do this. A cup of tea just pours on him and it's yellow.
Time Zone just says, lemon tea.
Kind of the worst lemon tea they have. Dude, that's like the worst lemon tea of all time. The two Technos are just disgusted.
No, Aaron just having really no reaction at all to that. He's just more like, what the hell?
And are you sure you're not going Nova Era? Wait, is he going? I forgot.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And so it's like, I'll protect Energy John. You go. So everyone's going. He'll protect Energy John, and They immediately get yeeted into the yellow thing as it opens its doors and shuts fast, and they're just instantly in Energy John's timeline.
Time to know who's face first into the dirt from that. Ow.
Both Technas landed on their ass, but they landed in a pond of ducks.
And Novera, who's still standing on his feet.
Surprisingly.
And what about Rex?
Rex literally landed on a tree, but instead of landing on his fucking ass or face, guess where he landed? Guess how he landed?
Oh no, how?
He landed literally on top of the tree. Like, just there on top of the tree with no fucks given. He's like, how did I get here? Because here's the thing, he didn't expect himself to land on a tree, but he's floating of it, and the tree's slowly disintegrating, and he's just in the tree, and he's slowly floating to the ground. And he's like, how did this happen? Like, the fuck?
Time to know who stands up, dusting himself off. Why the hell is that disintegrating?
We're not sure why the tree is disintegrating. The two Technos look at each other like, they both like, we don't know why it's disintegrating. Like, we genuinely don't know. Why is it disintegrating? The tree just slowly disintegrates, and no one knows why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, no one knows why it's disintegrating. And then the tree just disappears, and he's now floating above the ground a little bit.
Then of course you got Novera, who's standing on his feet the entire time as if he did not even move once. Before he's looking around a bit.
Damn. So as he's doing that, Void, and he's just like, wait, why are we near hills in some grassy areas? And then there's an ocean, and then German Ted's like, there's an ocean 5 miles that way. And they're both looking at all each other, and they look at Time Whistle, they're like, have any comments for our location? Says the regular Techna.
Time Snow just looks at him and says, no, not really. As long as I don't see a damn meteor.
German Techna's like, he points he points off in that direction towards where the sun is setting, and there's like 5 different meteors crashing down from the sky.
All times no. No, this is. Oh.
Literally, oh. He's like, no, he's that PTSD meme where it's like, I have PTSD. Just like that one guy with the background music, and it's just like,
Yep.
Vietnam flashbacks.
And Novera just looking at meteors with a raised eyebrow.
And then regular Techna says, they both Techna say in unison actually. They say, yeah, he has PTSD from the meteors from his timeline. Because a prick meteored his house.
Novera slowly looking at Time as no just somehow jumps into a barrel.
But then German Techna's like, a barrel? I don't. How in the fuck did that happen? You dung scheißers confuse me. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Meteors shouldn't be landing, especially the timeless ones. which means someone is altering time here.
Nova Arrow just sighs slightly before he snaps his fingers as these crystal, rings form around their wrists.
They look at regular Technos like, what is this?
Nova Arrow just looks at him, explains that it should protect them against any time-based attacks, just in case.
Well, then regular Techno remarks, the Director of Time should be the only one be able to manipulate time. No one else should be able to manipulate time, and if they are, it's probably different than the Directors. Which means I don't even know if that will be able to stop it. Maybe slightly, but not fully.
Time is null inside the barrel. At least some protection is good. Before he comes out of the barrel.
No, and
Wearing full armor, by the way.
all of a sudden, both Technas glitch for a split second at the same exact time, doing the same exact movements, and then they merge for a split second again, and then they go back to normal light. Okay, that happened again. And here's the thing. So as they're getting their bearings to kind of like comprehend that, what is timeless null um and
Nova Era.
yeah, what are they thinking?
Timeless null is kind of just thinking, where the fuck even are we? Meanwhile, Nova Era, he's actually just looking around surveying the area.
Ah. So he's kind of like, yeah. So they're kind of confused on what like is happening, but it has a deeper meaning, but we'll find out later on, maybe.
Oh god.
Keyword maybe. Anyways,
Oh boy.
so as they keep going for this forest and the woods and everything, back with Dr. Butston and the Cobney and
And Archelion.
Archelion, yep. I was about to say that. They're watching all this play out, and Dr. Butston is eating a Pop Tart, and he's like, you guys want anything? He's just eating, he's like, you guys want anything?
The company just says, no, not really. And Archelion just says that he literally does not require food. Or
And then,
any drinks.
and then he just, and then Dr. Butston swallows, and he's like, yeah, I don't need it either, but it is nice to feel the sensation of eating sometimes. Being, partially human and all that. Well, once somewhat of a demigod.
The company just rolling his eyes in his visor before he literally puts his hand in a small rift just to take out a piece of steak and noms it down.
It's because like Dr. Bustin will never need to eat for sustenance. He only eats for only two reasons. One, it heals him. Two, yes, like a video game character. Three, because he thinks it's funny and a funny way of healing, where you're fighting your enemy and they just eat a sandwich in front of you. And four, because he's literally an eldritch horror. And for those who don't know what Dr. Butston looked like, imagine someone, a scientist in a lab coat with just darkness around where their eyes should be, and just these glowing, fuzzy white eyebrows with a mouth that literally has sharp rows of teeth that are very shark-like.
Mm.
That's basically him in a nutshell. and eldritch tentacles that and floating hands, and I think it's like 3 arms on each end, so I think that's like 6 arms on each end. Yeah, 6 arms.
Yeah. 6 arms.
6 regular arms and a bunch of floating hands and a bunch of tentacles, where basically his lower half should be. So I bet you're wondering, don't ask how he procreates. You don't want to know. And don't look up.
Demonetize real quick.
No, don't look up the word procreate.
Oh, good.
Just don't look it up, trust me. Unless unless you're 18 and you don't know what that is, because not many people would know what that is. It's a fancy word, that's why no one knows what it is. It's a scientific fancy word that scientists and sometimes doctors would probably use. But anyways, point being, don't look it up if you don't want to know.
Hmm.
Anyways, back to what I was doing. So they're watching this all unfold, and the Comney might be very interested. And you know what he tells the Comney?
What?
He tells the Comney one little thing before he goes back to watching it. He looks at the Comney and says, "Do whatever you want to the Twisted One, but the other ones, the Majesties, leave them to me." And his
Becoming. Oh, continue.
and as he says that, one of the dark areas where his eyes should be actually glows a crimson bright red, telling the Comney he's not fucking around.
Hmm. The company looking somewhat like a protogen if his arms were elongated and some parts of the middle were flesh, along with orange color in his visor.
Hmm.
Is the best way I can describe him.
Ah.
He just looks at Dr. Butson and just says, "Fine by me."
And then Dr. Butson's eyes stop glowing, and guess what his eyes turn into?
Hmm.
Tiny glowing white orbs the size of marbles.
Hmm.
That's why no one really saw his eyes, because like I said, they're either there or they're not there. And that dark veil that looms over his eyeballs is a curse.
Hmm.
And hence that's the way he looks, because literally he has no form. He has no physical form. That's only a comprehension of what he should look like. Considering there's always never just one Eldritch Horror, there's multiple, but he's one that can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yee.
And hence that's the way he is.
And of course, Arcalian is keeping to himself, running, having a holographic screen active, and just running data.
He's not too interested in what's going on, is he?
Nope, not really.
Yeah, so he keeps doing his own thing, and I kind of spaced out there for a second.
It's alright.
So he keeps doing his own thing, and he's going along doing his own thing, and guess what happens?
What?
And we're going back to the thing, and guess this is what happens.
Hmm?
The next gen king shows up, and guess what happens?
What?
When he shows up to them, He literally goes out of his way, no gives fucks, and literally fucking slices both Techna's throats and pushes them, throwing them miles back, and then teleports out, leaving smoke in his path after teleporting.
Time is null. Over here, like, what the fuck?
And yeah, here's the thing. Once both Technas are like patched up, they teleport back, clearly showing signs of damage that isn't healing properly.
Mm.
And they say, "Oh shit, regular Techna, that was no ordinary man right there. Hell no, that was the next gen king." I wonder what Echo Nova era thinks of the next gen king.
Interesting, but dangerous.
You want to know?
Obviously.
You wonder how dangerous he is?
Huh?
That was only a small fraction of his power.
Oh god, he's going Shaggy mode.
Oh, he's doing worse than Shaggy mode, man. I mean, this is like Ultra Instinct Shaggy times fucking 10,000 Ultra Instinct Shaggies. You have no idea. Anyways, so back to what I was doing. Yeah. So as they're getting ready to go like after him and stuff, guess what happens?
Hmm?
So both Technas recover from the damage, and they explain how the next gen king is the last human ever to exist in this world. They show up like data and pinpoints, so and I'm pretty sure Void Era can understand this pretty easily.
Nova Era, yeah.
Yeah, Nova Era. So he understands it pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And they also explain how the next gen king is an expert in next gen technology, meaning their technology gets more advanced the more that they lose and stuff. Wherever a flaw may be, it they fix it almost immediately because the next gen king has that ability.
Mm-hmm.
And considering he's the next gen king, that is literally his power. He can literally make it so, and I kid you not, a microwave can become the most dangerous thing in the world and the most powerful thing in the world. Lethal microwaves. He could make guns even more dangerous than they already are. And they explain how his armor is holding not only power, but souls. Everyone who has fallen at his hand gets infused into his armor. And they explain that he has the pure color of all chromatics.
It is at this moment that Nova Era slightly narrows his look. Interesting. It's all he says.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse.
Of course, everything always gets worse.
And then they explain how his armor is impenetrable to all things. And people who have managed to dent his armor usually end up falling anyways. And they tell him that this one has not been upgraded yet. It means that he's still the base version of himself and has been no altercations they enhance yet, since they have devices that monitor the timeline. Both Technas agree that because of this, the next gen king is not only dangerous, but out for conquest because Energy John is his mortal enemy. And they also reveal he does have a device that can control time itself on a more base bound level.
And then just times all over here like, well, there goes trying to fix shit without trying to get too in. Well, without trying to directly alter shit.
And they also remark that the next gen king can never die. He cheated death permanently. And they said there is a modern version of him, though,
Hmm.
since he never fully died. And I bet you're wondering, what is the modern version of him?
Kind of.
Let me say this, we're all gonna figure out what it is by the end of it.
Oh god.
And they say our first priority is finding Energy John. So guess where they go to?
Where?
Once the Technos find the coordinates, they're like, "All right, everyone, we're teleporting." The German one says. The regular one, "Yes, we're teleporting."
Times Notice's remarks. Do not teleport us into a fucking tree.
And guess what Rex was doing this whole time?
What?
Staring in shock and horror that the fact that the next gen king might be even more powerful than him.
And yeah, we haven't seen Nova Era's feats yet.
Yep.
And no, not his feet. His abilities.
Wait, we want to see his feet pics. Nova Era has feet pics. Give me them feet pics, boy.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, continue.
So as they go and they teleport there, the whole place is already in flames, and guess who they see?
Ooh.
They see Majesty Steve and his brute. And the brute is like, tasty morsels. And Majesty's like, not yet. Let me guess. They're pissed.
Nova Era especially is quite pissed. Although Times New over here is just like, who the fuck are you?
He looks at Timeless Story, he's like, I am Majesty Steve. I am the great son of the
just
Twisty.
interrupts him and says stupid name.
What? He's like, that is my birth name. Well, my second birth name.
Times Low just remarks and says, damn, so you got adopted at birth?
He's like, no, I died, and then I got resurrected. How dare you? I am royalty.
Times Low just says, no, and then Times Low just says, damn, so not even death liked you, huh?
No, he said he was, and then he's like, no, I was resurrected by my own father. Well, his significant other. But we don't talk about them.
Times Low just says one more thing, and he just says, damn, guess something didn't go right with the relationship. Nova Era over here being like, what the hell?
Literally Rex just gives him a pat on the title soul, a cookie, and a pat on the back. He's like, thank you. And
With a thumbs up.
And then he just looks at Majesty. Wow, you just got wholly roasted. And fucking no, Majesty is pissed, and he looks at Tecna and he's like, how dare you? How dare you after everything I did for you?
And as he's talking, literally a crystal sword just sprouts right out of the ground in front of him.
Out of who?
No, it just came out of the ground right towards Majesty, but stopped like a mere second before hitting him.
Majesty kind of struck it and doesn't move. He's like, can't kill me yourself, so you have to have your lackeys do it for you.
Times no. You should probably be worried about the tall motherfucker with us.
He looks at Echo Nova Era, and he's like, you're Techna's father.
Nova Air just says nothing, but he's looking at Majesty. Meanwhile, types on looks at Majesty and just says, "Huh, seems like he doesn't like you."
And he's like, well, I would expect nothing less from their father. Well, one who got corrupted by the sword, anyways. The one who wields that sword is a pride and proud tribute, literally mocking Void era. I mean, Echo Nova era. And if you kill me, you prove my point.
One of something hilarious. Nova Air
What?
disappears, and he reappears right behind Majesty, and all Majesty feels is just a punch right to the damn throat. And a hard one, too.
And then the giant creature tries to fucking smash him. Tries to bring his fist down as fast as he can.
Nova Air just sidesteps it, grabs the brute, and just yeets it. Yeet.
And the brute is like. Then the brute teleports back, but with a little bit of like wounds now, but he's still like recovering. And the brute has a puzzled yet furious expression on his face. But here's the funny part.
Hmm?
Regular Techna goes out of his way and he says, "Don't kill the brute. We can cure him. Maybe."
Nova Air telepathically just says to Techna, "I know."
And then the brute literally is looking for Majesty for orders. And Majesty just says, well. He just starts laughing maniacally. And then he's like, well, it's a good thing this body wasn't real either. Rips off his arm and just throws it, and it turns into a bomb and explodes in his face, trying to devastate more of the area.
As it explodes, a crystallized shell literally formed around it just to catch the explosion.
Damn. As Majesty's body fades and just turns into liquid. And then the beast, he's actually still there, and then he gets orders from Majesty. All they hear is Majesty's voice echoing for the world over here, and he says, "Now, my beast!" And then the beast literally unlocks his full potential and is about to destroy everything in his path with no holding back.
Wanna know what Nova Air does in response?
What?
He literally makes a crystal sword, stabs into the ground, and then it just makes a shell around him and the brute into a little pocket dimension.
The brute and him start fighting vigorously as the brute comes in swinging, but also has extra arms now, so he's not just punching once, he's punching multiple times.
Nova Air who is actually sidestepping and blocking the attacks. And yes, the other four can actually enter into the pocket dimension if they want to.
And the brute is going ham and cheeseburgers on him. Well, inside, the pain and agony that is being felt by the person inside is increasing immensely.
Nova Era, being Era, he kind of sees it, but he's still, blocking and dodging, but not directly attacking at all.
The beast ends up breaking one of those crystals that he made with full blunt force.
As the crystals are shattered, they form around to kind of just chain the brute down.
And it and as they do that, the brute ends up melting them with its eyes and starts breathing something known as toxic fire that can literally disintegrate through anything. Starts burning through all this crystal shit and absorbing what remains.
Also absorbing what remains of those crystals.
Hmm.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Why?
Because as he does that, Dad literally allows Nova Arrow to just make him incredibly slow. Echo Nova, bitch.
Damn.
Because time does not exist with it.
The creature is like trying to fucking break free of the slowness suddenly. And then Rex is like, I have an idea. Rex goes up to it, starts glowing green with his green ability, and tries to heal the the corruption from Majesty.
Nova Arrow just stands by him to watch.
And guess what happens?
Hmm.
It works. It's only half, but the beast is still like it's half the beast, but it's also half of uh developer Steve. And the Techno's like, "You did it. Developer Steve is being freed somewhat. He's technically not fully free." And Matt, as the person inside, wait, who is gonna voice him? I just realized.
Oh shit, actually.
We
I
didn't
don't
think
remember. I
he
don't remember who character he belonged to.
from what I remember from your lore saga, he never really talked. He just did
Yeah.
tech stuff.
Yep.
So I guess, well, I don't know
Yeah, I
who's.
guess you can play.
Well, okay, well that's an honor. I get to voice him. Well, for now, considering he's technically your character.
Yeah.
But in this event, I guess we'll let him. He'll be voiced by me for now.
Yep, because I genuinely don't remember who he actually belonged to, so
Well, you were the one to probably uh body act him.
probably, I don't know.
I think you were, honestly, because he never talked, and it was him interacting with Dylan at the time. So, and if I find that video, go back and I find it, it was probably you, honestly.
Yeah, probably, but for now, eh.
All right. So I was like, I'm free. I have been free. I am developer Steve. I'm free from his his grasp. And he says, "Could someone remove the slowness from my body?"
Nova Era quickly does that with just a snap of his fingers, even though he literally doesn't need to do that.
And developer Steve says, "Ah, thank you. I am not completely free of Majesty's corruption, but because of you, I no longer feel the suffering attributes. But his mind control runs deep, and I think you Technas know what I mean." Oh, and if you're not familiar what I'm getting down with, it's more than just pure mind control. It's mind control mixed with something else.
Hmm.
You know that symptoms that people get when they join a cult or they join
Yeah.
and they're loyal to the person that tortured them. They just can't help themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, in other words, he's still loyal to Majesty, so he can't fully like help them. But he is thankful that they were able to get him free.
For the most part, yeah.
And he also advises them to leave him for now so he may regain his strength.
Nova Era just tells him that when he's ready, he can just go through that crystal ball nearby to leave the pocket dimension.
He nods to him and says, "Thank you," and just sits there meditating. Because he's literally now a very powerful demigod now.
Yep. And without another word, Nova Era just goes and leaves.
And then everyone leaves the pocket dimension with him, and they're like, "All right, where's Energy John?" And then out of nowhere, someone runs up really fast, slaps all of them, and literally is holding guess what they're holding?
What?
They are holding a netherite sword. They're fully enchanted netherite gear, and they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And it's Energy John.
Nova Era who's about to kind of like logic expanded, but then Time Snow just says, "Hey, I'm your future buddy."
Buddy, I have no friends. I have no family. They are all dead. And
Time
then
Snow just rubs his chin. Not the backstory I really expected, but
the next Gen King killed them all. And there's a madness cult running around here worshipping someone named Madness Knoll.
Time Snow and Nova Era literally slowly look at each other like, huh?
And then both they apologize to Energy John, explaining that they're from his future. And he's like, "Huh? Well, if you're not here to hurt me, are you here to help me with the next gen empire and taking it down? They've got hostages." And he's like, "What kind?" And they ask, "What kind of hostages?" "Indigo Stalaxians. Indigo and these other ones that aren't Stalaxians hostage here."
Nova Era just raises an eyebrow slightly. And then, you got Time Snow over there being just a little weirded out. Because he does not like to deal with time travel bullshit.
Well, you have yeah, and they tell him that don't worry, you don't have to deal with all of it.
Time Snow just double thumbs up.
And that's why we're here. And then all of a sudden, Energy John is like, "Well, if you're not here, then you need to help me. Okay? I've been gearing up to take down the next gen king. I've had to fight off the madness cult, but I think after the next gen empire's down, I need to deal with the madness cult on my own." And he looks at Rex, and Rex they both look at each other like, "Huh. For some reason, I trust you. More than the other two. What's your name?" And Rex is like, puts out his hand and shakes his hand. He's like, "Name's Rex. I can help you." "Well, we all can. These are my associates." He literally calling them associates. "Well, good. Because I'm gonna need all the help I can get to take down the next gen king. And this won't be an easy feat. I hope you all know that." As he puts his sword away. And guess what? Guess what he also has on his back? Energy John has a backpack on his back, and you can see that he's got pistols in his backpack.
Now hold up.
He's got guns. So I'm wondering, how the hell is there guns in this world?
Kind of.
No, but then the guns come into frame a little bit, and they don't look like normal guns.
Mm.
Steampunk era. They're steampunk guns.
Interesting. Times Null just says, it reminds me on how
The guns are
certain
used.
people. Oh,
The
continue.
guns are actually used to channel like energy. So like, for instance,
Energy guns, yes.
yeah. So any energy they have gets channeled for the gun and turns into energy bullets.
Oh, the Nova energy might be extremely powerful.
Oh, trust me, if it was turned into a bullet, it could be turned into any bullet because they got a variety of weapons: snipers, shotguns, LMGs, etc. But it does drain the user. It's like running a mile, according to
Mm.
what it's normally felt like by everyone. For people who are much powerful, it feels like a nice jog because it
I wonder
drains
if
your
that's
stamina as well.
I wonder if that's intentionally designed.
It is.
Okay, then that is the stupidest design, but okay.
Well, not intentionally fully, but like they couldn't stop it. They
Okay,
nerfed it a
so
bit.
it's a flaw.
It's a flaw, but a flaw they can't fix
Alright, continue.
because they wanted the guns to be more proficient. So as they're going around doing all this stuff, and the next gen king, he's sitting in his throne room patiently setting up with everyone else. But as they go through, Energy John is like, "Fine, I'll lead you to my camp." He literally teleports them all in one go. Guess how he teleports?
Well,
He teleports them instantly in a flash of light, just for a split second, and they're all there. And Energy John feels a little bit tired, and he guess what he does?
hmm.
He eats a pop tart. He literally eats a pop tart and some berries, and he's like, much better. And he drinks some mysterious glowing liquid in a bottle, known as the glowing substance. And I bet you're wondering, what the fuck is that?
I'm not sure if I even want to know.
So then, all of a sudden, Rex
Because
asks
of
the
the
question.
glowing substance. Because just the word glowing substance sounds like a sex joke waiting to happen.
Maybe it is. No, it isn't. And then, so Rex asks, "What the hell is a glowing substance?" He's like, "I'm not sure. This weird doctor gave it to me. Said it would make me better, but I don't remember what he looked like. His face was like blurry. It restores my energy though." And everyone just eyes widen as the initials on the bottle go into play, and it says BRTN. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the room that's watching over with Dr. Bunston is just like looking at him.
The company more so, but Killian just takes a peek before going back to just running data and shit.
And he looks at the comedy with the widest ass smile that almost breaks his entire face until there's nothing there. And he's like, I had to have a little fun. And then he just leans back in his recliner chair watching as his tentacles are doing something else in the meantime.
Oh boy.
I bet you're wondering what the fuck are his tentacles doing?
Mm-hmm.
All I'm gonna say is it's not sexual. So thank
When you
God for
say that, when you say that, then it kind of sounds.
No, it isn't. I swear on all things serious, it's not.
I know.
Oh, why is there? Oh, there is a radical entertainment building in the game. That's funny. I never noticed that.
Mm.
Sorry, just a minor detail of my game I'm playing so I can do the whole live record kind of thing. Anyways,
Ye-
back to the story.
Indeed.
So
Meanwhile, you know, Nova and Tyler's North, who have absolutely no clue about the issues.
they explain no, and then 30 minutes in, they find for 30 minutes straight they explain who Dr. Buxton is, so they get the point.
Tyler's North. Oh yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
That's
so
great.
but he exclaims it doesn't make sense why he's helping, which means it's bad if he's helping someone. Basically, if Dr. Butson ever gets involved, it's bad.
Mm.
It means it's gonna lead to something later down the line. Something you're not expecting.
Oh god.
He may seem nice in that moment, but it's all an act. Sometimes. Like I said, he's playing 7D chess with D&D.
Mm. Okay.
So he's prepared for anything.
And then you got Tyler's North just looking around the camp.
And he sees that it's set up and there's a few Stalaxians just roaming around. There's a few grays, a few dark and light, and the lights are praying, and some of the other ones are praying as well.
Tyler's North. Man, we must look really fucking weird.
And Energy John chimes in and he says, "Nah, you're not weird. They don't really care. They're refugees. They've half of their civilizations got destroyed in a meteor shower. I saved them."
Tyler's North just says, please don't mention anything about meteors.
Meteors? I have the power to summon them. DST gets triggered again.
Tyler's North slowly looks over at him, just says, I was crushed by a meteor. In my own house.
And then Energy John says, "I'm sorry to hear that. I've never heard of anything like that ever happening." Well, technically, I can't be too upfront like that because I did accidentally crush someone with a meteor.
Tyler's North just like, nope, nope. He's just walking away, going back to the others. Nope, 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 nope.
It was some annoying bastard who showed up on my doorstep one day. And he says that he thinks his name was Dylan.
Tyler's North. Good fucking riddance.
Well, someone told me to do it, technically.
Tyler's North. Again. Good fucking riddance.
And I may be wondering who told him to do that.
Yeah.
The director of time.
And to that, he gets a thumbs up from Tyler's North.
Until Dr. Butson resurrected him. And gave him to the reinforcement division saying he'd be useful.
Of course.
So as all this is happening, guess what's even worse going on?
Mm.
So as they're getting their bearings and the Technos are doing their thing, getting ready for the battle, Rex is training him, and then over at the Next Gen Empire, he's like, "Alright, now let's get down to business." Because this is a part of the stuff we missed.
Yeah.
So, what do I owe the pleasure of all of you accompanying me here in my palace? And Void Techna goes on to say, "I'm here to lend you a hand." How? As Majesty informs him of what happened just a few minutes ago. "I'm sorry to announce, sir, but My creature has been liberated. Oh, well then. Get your get your get your best magic ready. Get your energy ready. You're going to need your strength. Yes, Void Techna, sir. Now then. Let me show you something. So as they're talking, Void Techna shows him the power of the void and
Oh boy.
and how to fight and utilize it. And here's the thing, the void didn't exist in this timeline. The only
Oh.
mention of the void is from a cult called the Madness Cult, and barely anyone knows of their whereabouts.
I love one of my own damn factions. It's just randomly around there.
Yep. Inspiring other Salaxians to partake in the destruction of reality and the madness.
Mm-hmm. No, then while, he's doing that, Lord Necros just says, "I feel an off presence. Familiar but off."
Mm. And then Void Techna uses the full force of the sword, like channeling the sword through him against the next gen king to train him. And then he starts learning how to harness the void. And as they clash, the void starts to get stronger.
Yep, and not like Viking, his own abilities would be amplified by like 3.
And guess what happens?
Hmm?
He takes the next gen king into a time chamber, and so does Rex. He makes time around them kind of like cease, so they can train for a long period of time in only a short matter of time.
Meanwhile, Nova Era, who's not really affected by time.
And I bet you're wondering, what is Majesty planning up his sleeve?
Yep.
All I'm gonna say is this: whatever Majesty has planned, it's going to be 10 times worse than anything I've ever thought of.
Hmm.
So only 2 days pass, and guess what happens?
What?
2 days pass, and guess how much time passed in the other dimension?
How much?
37 years.
Oh boy.
And so both of them come out, and the next gen king has now officially been altered. And he's able to harness Void Techna's void.
Oh boy.
And Techna has lent him a lot of void in those 37 years. And as the Energy John has now learned more energy, he knows how to manipulate and control different colors of energy now. But it might not even be enough.
Hmm.
So while he's mastering all this energy stuff, he's different now, and I'm pretty sure Nova Era can sense it.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what's different about him?
Hmm.
He's been infused with divine energy.
Wait, who's been infused with divine energy?
Energy John, and he's harmonizing with all the energy inside him on a cellular level.
Nice.
And guess what happens?
Hmm.
After the harmonization process is over and done with, the new thing happens. Energy John now has a near infinite amount of energy and durability.
Hmm.
And he's like, It's time to take down the next gen king now before it's too late.
Nova Era just simply says, and do you have a plan for that?
He says, there is a plan. Kill him. Make him suffer. Slowly. I mean, wondering, how the hell did that happen? Where the hell did that come from? That doesn't sound like Energy John.
Kind of.
Let me put it like this.
And
Energy
again, this
John
is the
is
past.
pissed.
Yeah. And then again, this is the past, so.
Well, here's the thing. Energy John is more than a little bit pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I'm teleporting all of us. Get your stuff ready. So 30 minutes go by. Everyone's getting their stuff ready.
Yep. And hilarious enough, Time Zone hasn't done shit yet.
I wonder what Time Whistle thinks of all this.
He's like, to be honest, he's kind of just digesting the fact that it's the past, and he's kind of seeing Energy John's past.
Yep. Since he's technically responsible for the one of the Great Wars of my main timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happens?
Mm-hmm.
A yellow Stalaxian shows up out of nowhere. And guess what he looks and sounds like?
What?
Dylan. It's a Dylan Stalaxian. Someone made a Dylan Stalaxian.
Time Snow. Whoever made this damn thing, I spite you.
And guess what? And guess what the initials were on it?
What?
Dr. BTN.
Time Zone just like.
Dr. Bunsen with the widest ass smile on his face, laughing very softly.
And goes Time Zone randomly just says, I bet this motherfucker has a butt for a face.
You know what's funny? Surprisingly, his name, originally he was supposed to, but no, he doesn't.
Lol.
He doesn't have a physical form even.
Hmm.
So that physicality that he has is only a ghost.
Hmm.
Unless he absorbs mass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyways, back to the show.
Yeah. God damn it.
He intentionally triggered Timeless Soul's PTSD.
Not even PTSD, just bruh. But yeah, back to the show.
Yep.
As they were getting ready.
And then his Energy John waits for them. Are you all ready?
Time Zone. Yeah. And of course, Novera, obviously ready.
He goes up to all of them. He says, "This is the biggest teleport I'm ever gonna do. So let's go." And as before they're about to teleport, and he's like, "What do you mean by that?" Says Blotechnas, and behind all of them, all you see is a bunch of Stalaxians ready for battle out of nowhere.
Time
Ready.
Zone. Hmm?
And they're like, "We're behind you, John." Because he's the most powerful one of them all.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, he got so strong that even the others can tell.
Mm. No, everybody kind of just notices this, but doesn't mind. Because he did get killed once, remember?
Oh, yeah. So, he's like, "Get ready." And right that, with a flash of blinding light, and instantly they're teleported to a battlefield right
Mm.
outside the winter biome. And guess what biome it is in?
What?
The entire biome is literally just a desert.
Interesting.
And the armies are assembled, and the next gen king is like, "I've been waiting for you, John." And Void Techna is there, and guess who else is there?
Ooh.
Majesty, Steve, and Alex.
Mm. Interesting, though, Voitena would be able to notice Nova Era.
And Void Techna's like, "Ah, it's my father from another timeline." I wonder what Void Techna's actual like timeline father thinks of this.
Mm.
has no clue. Has no clue.
Because they already established that he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been fighting the singularity and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and they're, and he's, and Dia's like, "Oh, the other two scientists as well."
And then just times null.
"And why did you bring a timeless fool here? You should have stayed in the timeless." And the next gen king's like, "What do you mean?" "Oh, he's not affected by time," is what he tells the next gen king. And the next gen king is like, "I highly doubt that." Literally because no one's been able to ever overcome his time stop ability.
Mm. Interesting. And of course,
And
remembers
then
just for. Oh,
guess what happens next?
what?
And he's like, "Well, then so be it." You know what he does?
Mm.
This part's about to get graphical, so uh warning, this next story part is about to be intensely graphic.
Oh boy.
You've been warned. So basically, the next gen king teleports with a child Stalaxian in his hands. He comes back and disappears with a child in his hands, and literally snaps their neck almost instantly with no remorse, and absorbs it into his armor, not letting the soul rest.
Not that graphical, but okay.
Oh, I thought it would be a lot worse.
No.
Oh no,
There's
but
more
if
stuff
I
in
was to
there.
animate the process, let me just say this, it would be fucking worse, because you would hear every bone snapping and the organs being liquefied.
Okay, now you just made this mature.
Yeah, I was trying to warn everyone, so yeah, you've been warned. Anyways. Also the face. The face of the child was probably the most gruesome thing.
Just continue, goddammit.
As it distorts and wrinkled and unwrinkled and like a paper you keep folding in and out. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. And Energy John is immediately pissed. To the point where he rushes the Next Gen King instantly and punches him as hard as he can, denting his armor. And all the forces charge at each other. Instantly. So Energy John and Next Gen King are in an epic duel to the death. And Void Era can... Echo Nova Era can probably sense the void coming off of him and... of, the Next Gen King, correct?
Yep.
You know what's even funnier?
Huh?
The void coming off of it is 10 times more potent than it was off of Void Era. Void Techna. I'm sorry, I get their names confused a lot. And then Void Techna's like, let's have some fun, boys! And then, guess what happens?
Hmm?
Majesty Steve and Majesty Alex transform into a giant Titan mode. Literally consuming themselves around with their purest of void that they've harnessed for themselves. And literally become giant fucking titans.
Wonder what Nova Era thinks.
What?
He literally just sighs, raises a hand, and two skyscraper-sized crystal energy things just form and immediately impale the both of them.
They're void
Into the
bodies.
ground.
Guess
No,
what?
just into the ground.
Guess what?
Hmm?
Their void bodies only take damage. Their real selves were not even in there.
Yeah, Nova Era knows this.
And then more start spawning in. As the other ones he uses with the crystals despawn. And here's the thing. The two Technas are like, shit, we need to fight. And then Void Techna literally charges German Techna and slices his arm and pushes him down to the ground. And guess what? Before he could do any more damage to German Techna, Rex comes out of nowhere and literally punches Void Techna square in the jaw. I wonder what the sword is saying about this.
I partially forgot about the sword, but then again, the sword is just observing, letting Wojtek do what he wants.
And as the fight goes back and forth between the two, the Technas glitch out, and they're like, and guess what? German Techna is dying, and that means all German versions are also dying.
Mm.
I'll be okay. And he's kind of like fading in and out of like life and stuff. And regular Techna is fucking doesn't want him to die.
Nova Era just walks over, he kneels down, he forms like a crystal peppermint candy, it just hands it to regular China and just says, this should stabilize him for a while. Have him eat it.
And then, guess what? Out of nowhere,
Hmm.
Rex comes flinging right into Echo Nova because he got thrown by fucking Void Techna into him.
Nova Era who didn't even, he almost fell over, but yeah, basically impact caught Rex as he looks at Rex and just says, is he kicking your ass?
No, he caught me off guard with a few fucking Void teleportations and illusions. And apparently he's resistant to Veil.
Nova Era just sighs and just says, let me deal with this.
And before anything can happen, the timeline glitches. Everyone who's in there, who's not supposed to be, ends up glitching for a split second. For a solid split second.
Mm.
And guess what happens?
What?
German Techna, instead of taking the candy or the little item he's supposed to eat, he says, "No, it unfortunately it's time." There's no holding it back any longer. And he's like, very well. As both of them look at each other, they look back at everyone. They both stand up and they say goodbye. And hello. And you want to know why they say that?
Why?
Because in an instant, they just standing there, and suddenly they merge. Every Techna across the multiverse just merges instantly, except for Void, because he's different.
Mm-hmm.
And a giant wave of energy is now felt throughout the fucking multiverse. As the event that was supposed to occur occurs, and Director of Time over here watching this all unfold, he's like, just on time. As he sips more of his tea while watching over.
And, you can see that Timesol isn't really doing a whole lot.
He's like, I expected more from Timesol.
Although Timesol is actually just observing, more so, just looking for the perfect quote time to act.
And then, all of a sudden, the birth of a new warrior begins. And guess what happens? He tells Rex and the other two to stand down. Please. And out of the smoke, and out of the light, merges Lord Relic. The purest form of all Techna. So I bet you're wondering, how the fuck did that happen?
Nope.
Well, they were meant to be bound together. It's kind of how Techna's climax was supposed to be. He was supposed to turn into a full-on pure demigod. Or somewhat of that.
Yep.
So he became Lord Relic. And he looks at Void Air Techna, and he literally punches him so hard that teeth and blood spurts out of him. And his Void is useless against them. And they're starting to fight hard until Void Techna's like, as 40 minutes into their fight, he's like, I've had enough! And he pulls out a fucking ball. And guess what the ball says? It's a spherical orb that says Null, and he throws it at them.
Did you just do a Murder Girls reference?
Yes, I did!
Okay, so who did he throw it at?
He threw it at Lord Relic, which is growing bigger as he threw it at them, and they're holding it back with just one finger.
Well, while he's doing that, Novair actually goes and looks towards the next Gen King and how John Energy is doing.
Their battle is literally shaking the earth, and it's tearing apart mountains. They're punching each other, blasting each other, and one part of the mask of the helmet of the next gen King falls off. And and guess what you see underneath?
What?
You literally see a human face. Not just any human face. A face that looks familiar, and Lord Relic's like, oh, no way. Yep. Everyone knows who that is.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. The face and the outfit underneath looks like it's from the early 1930s. Energy John, you have no manners. And I've been wondering, 1930s? What character will I've had that has something to do with the 1930s?
Kind of.
Do you need a hint?
Go ahead.
He used to have control of the deal keeper until he retired.
Uh-huh.
Get the image? Now do you get it?
I think I had this guess before this, anyways.
He's the shimmer before the shimmer.
Yep, thought so.
Yep. Cause his face is literally shimmering.
Makes sense.
And as their fight continues, his armor is breaking, but his body remains solid. Energy John is able to tap into that divine energy like no tomorrow, and is channeling his other color energy through it. And then all of a sudden, Void Era senses the void from Energy John. Pure void energy itself. And he starts fighting with it, using it against the oncoming fucking next gen king. And as this is going on, and as this is happening, and as the Titans are coming out, and they see all this, Energy John, you're not going to best me. And they keep brawling, and it's fucking tearing apart more, and his armor's breaking, and you can see more and more of his 1930s-esque look under there.
Mm.
And it's just breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking until almost all of it is gone except for the gloves. And the gloves are actually helping him control, and his boots can help control and channel the energy that flows around him. Those chromatic energies. He's like, very well. And he stops time instantly using his device, which is a shimmering pocket watch.
Now, who does that affect?
It affects everyone. And if you have somehow time resistance, your movement is slower. You are slow. I froze time.
No, and all he hears by him is just, mm-hmm.
He looks at he looks at the sound. He's like, "What? How are you not affected by my time stop, Foley?"
And it's Nova Era, just standing there with a blade. He's just like, time does not exist with the power I have.
I should have counted for that. I'll have to make adjustments. And literally, his eyes flash, and he upgrades his time stopwatch.
When he does that, he can see that the Nova energy in Nova Era literally goes brighter for a second.
And then he presses it and stops time even further again.
Immediate punch to the face by Nova Era.
Ah! He goes flying back, but catches himself before he can go any further, nearing a mountain almost. And he's like, "How?"
Nova Era does not answer. It immediately just hits him with another punch to the gut and another to the face, repeating the same pattern.
And guess what?
That's a reference, by the way.
And guess what he does next?
Hmm?
Fuck you. Wait, Time Whistle would be immune, I think, to that then.
Yes, he is.
And then he's like,
just walking to the battlefield.
and guess what he does next?
What?
He unpauses time and literally uses a sonic boom and pushes Echo Nova Era back using the void.
You know what's funny? He pushes him back, but then Nova Air literally redirected that shit right back at him.
And then the next gen king is just gone, and he literally teleports behind Energon and kicks him to the ground. Now that time's up for us, and John fucking screams. It's like, oh fuck. I hate you, Energy John. I'm not dying here. And he fucking, as he says that, Energy John literally fucking punches him so hard, teeth fly out. And he's like, nah. And he's fucking shimmering as hard as he can. And he's like, no, I refuse. And guess what he pulls out of his back pocket?
Hmm?
As he knows he's on the brink of death from Energy John, and any attack that any attack that hits him next could actually be fatal and almost kill him, or get him close to death as he can, since he cheated death permanently. He grabs the most dangerous item that's ever existed, the concept crystal, and literally whispers into it and disappears.
Hmm.
In a flash of light, he is gone. But Energy John can no longer sense him. No one can.
Hmm.
And as that happens, Void Techna's like, oh, our time here is over.
The only thing Lord Necros just says is, seems nothing went to plan now, did it?
And wait, can Void Techna hear it?
Yes, obviously.
He's like, no, we did change the past, but apparently the fools were ready to counter. Director of Time, I will have your head on a silver platter.
No. And as he's saying that, he can see Nova Area immediately teleport right towards him.
Void Techna's like, hi. And he's got the sword in his hands, and he's like, hi.
The only thing Nova Era says to him is, whatever version of me is your father, they would not be proud of you at all.
Void Techna says, you don't know what you're talking about or what I went through. You have no idea. And
No.
this void
Continue.
is mine to control. The sword guides me. It is my only guide on my journey, and I must complete my mission. The sword has told me I must complete the mission.
Nova Era only just says, I know I don't know what you've been through. But again, if I was in the place of your father, the other me, this is not the path I would want you to take. Before literally just bitch slapping him.
And guess what happens after that?
What?
He literally gets up after that. It's like, as heavy breathing, and he's like, Majesty, and both Majesties, we're out of here. We're leaving. Bugman, I need you to open the portal back.
Arcalion in the room literally stops what he's doing and immediately opens that damn portal. Just blasting through a wall to do it.
And as that's happening, as they leave, and he's like, bye bye. He is, as Void Techna says, and guess what Void Techna does?
Hmm?
Almost forgot to leave you with a little present. As he's about to walk through the portal, he pushes the Dr. Butston button, and it clicks once, and something happens, and a wave of energy happens for a split second, and then it goes away. It says, first time use. One use activated. Time acceptable. One more time required. And Dr. Busted, with the widest grin on his face, is just, thank you. Laughing maniacally.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yep, laughing maniacally. And then after he's done with that, Dr. Buxton is like, it's almost time. And then they go for the portal that he made as the portal closes on the other side. The director of time says, well, your time is up. Get ready to leave. And everyone starts, Energy John goes up and starts thanking everyone. Thank you all for helping me.
Times Noel over here wanting a high five.
Energy John smiles just a little bit and gives him one.
And of course, Times Noel just says, "See you in the future."
And then as they go back to as they're teleported back by the director of time, guess what happens?
Hmm?
Energy John's just like, give me a high five as he looks completely different now.
Motherfucking high fives.
Yeah, and then turns his hand into a toaster. Give me a toaster 5.
His hand turns into bread, slaps the toaster.
Also, then then Energy John immediately is like, oh, by the way, check this out. He starts forming tiny little crystals in his hands for a second, and then it fades as he looks directly at Echo Nova Era.
No error who just looks at him. Hmm.
He was able to channel some of the the
Oh
Echo
no!
Nova Era. He was able to channel some of it, so he's got a taste for it. He doesn't fully understand it, but he's got a taste for it now. So his body's getting used to it.
Mm.
Means the more exposure he has, the more Echo Nova energy he'll absorb naturally.
Oh boy.
Just being next to Nova Era,
Nova era.
he literally could summon one thing.
What?
He summons a crystal the size of himself, which is about 9 feet tall.
Mm.
That's the most he can muster. And then after that, guess what he does next?
Mm.
After that, Echo.
Oh, this is the current energy John, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because their altering of the past helps, and he's stable. And the director of time was like, well, it's been fun, but I've got to run. I have an important meeting to go to with the Beast. Farewell. And he Mary Poppins his way out of there with an umbrella.
Oh, Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yep. He fucking just, and as he is flying away in the wind, right before he disappears, there's just a blinding light, and then he's gone.
Hmm.
Yep.
Times Noel just looks at John Energy. Not the urgent story I expected.
And Energy John's like, well, there's a lot more. Like, the Madness Cult was probably the biggest issue, but whatever that Void Technic guy did, he really messed something up. Because after you left, something weird started happening.
Times Noel just says, and that would be.
The Madness Cult got even stronger, and they started taking over the whole world.
Times Noel just looks at Nova Era. Hey, whatever happened to Madness Noel? Nova Era. Who's that? Times Noel. Right, he's not one of your creations.
Lord Relic is like, oh, we've been studying that guy for a while.
They both kind of just look at him.
He pulls out a whole fucking digital schematic.
Time Snow. Damn. Time of study.
It explains how he works a little bit and how the his influence is pure madness and drives others to his cause when they're perfect for influencing, when they're at their weakest mental state.
Yep. And all Nova Era has to say is, sounds like a more wicked extension of Nightmare Null.
Everyone, no, Lord Relic just slowly turns and looks at him, and so does Rex. And Rex is
Nova
like, "You were worse."
Time Snow just says, hey, well, it's not completely his fault. No, Nova Era looks at Time Snow, picks him up, yeets him up to the sky.
And then we have to cut back with the other people, remember?
Yep.
And then the other people. And Dr. Butson gets up from his chair as Void Techna and the two Majesties are back from their voyage. We're back. Doctor, it's you. Ah, yes, indeed it is. And almost forgot. Wait, can you summon your little friend for me before I can't hold these two back? Anyways, and Void Era, Void Techno immediately gets his like, oh. He snaps his fingers, pulls out a cell phone, and makes a call.
Arcalion just goes back to his lab, and Takami's just chilling.
And then out of nowhere, suddenly the Twisted King appears, and he's like, "I have arrived." Oh shit! Wait, what am I doing here? Oh, hi, Duchovny.
Takami looks at the Twisted King. Hi.
You can
I was
tell.
talking. No, Takami just says, hi, I've been talking to a little friend here.
And he looks at Dr. Buxton, and he's like, "Oh, hi." And Dr. Buxton frowns for the first time after smiling for so long, and he's like, "Well, it's good to see you again." And he, with his two floating hands, he takes Majesty, Steve, and Alex with him, and he's like, "Well, time to leave you to your fate, by the way." And the Twisted King's like, "Wait, what? Is this not?" And then guess what? Guess what? The Twisted. Guess what? Dr. Busted does right before anything else can happen.
What?
Everyone just sees Dr. Buston kiss the Twisted King on the mouth. Have fun. And then teleports away with Majesty, Steve, and Alex kind of drained, feeling low on energy. Oh, and wait, no, before he teleports away, he's like, can you press that button for me one more time? And Void Techna, like dumbfounded, presses it, and the button activates, and guess what happens?
What?
The rift between dimensions is destabilizing heavily, and he's like, and suddenly everyone in the world feels a bit off. Like, everyone except for these two. Well, everyone. Just except for Void Era. So anyone who's not powerful enough to withstand this is basically fucked. And guess what that means?
What?
Dr. Buxton just converted this whole timeline and dimension into a battery for himself. With that button.
Of course he did.
And Dr. Buxton's like, thank you. And the button short circuits, and it finally dispenses an energy ball that goes into Dr. Buxton. And he's like, finally! And he becomes solid, no longer a ghost. or a fraction of his energy, and it's like, finally, I'm solid.
Wait, you know how you just said that you just made that timeline in my universe a battery?
Yep.
Well, then let me add something here. As as he becomes solid, guess what he sees?
What?
It is like all the surfaces, walls, and all like become partly transparent, and the only thing staring back are just a theater of purple eyes.
What the hell?
And Dr. Butson's the only one who can see that.
He's confused why.
The Connie just looks at Dr. Budson. Ah, so you're seeing them, huh?
What is it?
The Connie just smiles slightly and just says, "You're in the belly of the beast.
What do you
This
mean?
universe's beast."
Is that why there's no overlord here?
The Connie just simply says, "Yeah, I should have mentioned that, this place was intentionally not made with an overlord."
So wait, he basically converted a whole other plane of existence into a battery, and the creature that dwells here is now noticing him?
Let's just say my universe now fully notices him.
And the Comni, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Remember when I said that my universe is alive?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like what's going on here.
And it doesn't like that it was just turned into a battery.
At least a small portion of it, yeah.
And he's like, I'm out of here. Fucking teleports out.
The comedy with the most wickedest grin slowly looks over to the Twisted King.
Mm-hmm.
You want, and he just says to him, "You want to know something, Twisted King, and
Uh,
all those who are watching."
he's like, what? And then Void Tech is just over here, dumbfounded, and is like, did I lose? Did I win? What's even happening anymore? He's so, like, dumbfounded in
No,
the
and the
sword.
comedy, no, and the comedy just looks over to Voitegna and just says, "Question yourself this, buddy. Was she even supposed to die in the first place?"
It was he goes mutters to himself. He's like, no, it was an accident. It was a lab accident. She wasn't supposed to die. She wasn't. I I could have. Twisted King, you said you would revive her, right? Yeah, I can. I absolutely can. Yes, that's our end of the deal. Did you?
No, the comedy just says, "Yeah, that's bullshit of you."
And literally looks at the Comni and looks back at the Twisted King. His feared expression is not reassuring.
And wanna know what the Twisted King starts seeing?
What?
He starts seeing this black, shifting, shadowy mass start forming in the corner, and the only thing of a face he sees is a smile and giddy, happy eyes looking at him.
No. Dear monkey on the shoulder, banana upside down smoothie sundae. This can't be happening. As his face distorts in the most terrified look he's ever felt, pure animal fear.
And this thing that's looking at him, guess what it says?
What?
"New friend." As it literally shoots right at him but disappears. And the Twisted King can feel his head almost spinning.
And he's like, he looks at Void. Guess what? I bet you weren't
Hmm.
expecting this. He looks at Void, Techna, and he says, I, I, I lied to you. I can't bring her back. Yep.
And yeah, Nakomi's standing over there with the most wickedest fucking grin as the Twisted King can feel himself start changing out of his own will. As if his own fucking will has been torn from him.
And Void Techna fucking losing it, staring directly at the Kobni now. Just look, looks at the sword. And then he uses his void powers sword and he teleports out of there to a place where he
Yep.
can escape. And guess what happens to all his void minions?
Hmm.
They start turning into balls of energy.
Yep, and as that's happening, Kami literally grabs the Twisted King as a rift starts opening, and he brings him through into some sort of. Actually, no. He brings him right into the fucking Void Shaper realm where they first met.
And the Twisted King's like, why? This can't be happening. I You know, I should have just killed you the first day I met you. It would have
No.
been easier than letting that stupid true overlord kill you. He's going into madness, literally losing his fucking mind.
No.
As this,
And Kami just grabs him and has him face to face, and he just says, I've been playing you a fool before I met you. Letting you believe you could kill me, believe you betrayed me. I let you betray me.
but why?
The comedy just simply says, Karma's a bitch. So wake up. Before he tosses him onto the ground as he can start feeling his body change even more.
And guess what happens
Hmm?
before he teleport? Guess who teleports right in front of the Comni?
Who?
Someone you wouldn't actually expect.
Hmm?
The director of everything.
Oh boy. The comedy just looks at the director and everything and just says, Now who are you?
He looks at him. He looks back at the Twisted King, who literally the color drains from his face as his face almost turns pale white as he stares at the director of everything. And
Oh yeah.
the Comedy can tell that the Twisted King fears this beast the most.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at the Comedy and he says, "Don't try to void shaper me. You can't reimagine me fully."
The comedy just says, I'm not even after you.
I know. I'll let you do what you want with him. Just know we need him back within 3 months.
The comedy just says, hmm, deal with no strings attached, unlike that dumbass fool who shook my hand for this to happen. As he just looks at the Twisted King with a grin.
And he's like, and the beast slowly looks over at the Twisted King and says, "The council has agreed that he deserves this. So do what you will with him for about 3 months, because we do not care for him for now. He is not part of what will happen next. Not yet, anyways."
Hmm.
And slowly turns to the Comni and says, 3 months, or I'll be back as early as convenience, if he is needed. Until then, do what you please with him. We will need him back eventually. And then
The
he
comment
tele
just replies with, "Deal, come back whenever you like. The door is open."
the beast only nods and then teleports away. And I bet he's gonna ask the Twisted King who was that.
No, he just looks at the Twisted King, which, by the way, his arms have slowly turned into mantis-like blades all of a sudden.
He's like, no, my beautiful arms. And his face slowly returns to some color.
And the Kami just looks at him and says, "You look like you've shit yourself."
He's like, I couldn't even. I couldn't even. It was the boss. The beast. The beast. We only call him the beast or the boss. He's a director that should have never existed, but
Yeah.
does.
You wanna know something?
What?
As the Kami's standing there with the most widest fucking grin that the Twisted King has ever seen the Kami with, the Twisted King can feel his entire insides changing as well. As his torso literally starts elongating, changing. Whatever physical mass he has is literally shedding off of him.
Damn, that's
Imagine
intense.
being in that slow process.
That is intense.
And it's not even done yet. And guess what the Kami starts saying?
What?
The Kami looks at the Twisted King, standing right over him, and just says, "Wanna hear a riddle?"
He says, no, thank you.
The Kami just says, "Too fucking bad." And prepare, for this is a long riddle.
I'm ready.
And the Kami asks, and just says, "Of shadows cast and bonds betrayed, a serpent's tongue, a game of charade. In treacherous depths the betrayer lurks, with whispered lies and unseen quirks. Beneath the surface, secrets hide. In twisted webs of deceit they bide. But in the end the truth shall rise, as darkness falls and daylight dies. So answer me this, O Twisted King, what hides behind the shadow's wing?"
The Twisted King says, I don't know. I don't know.
The Connie just fucking leans in close and whispers, "It should be familiar to you."
He doesn't know.
And you know what? The Connie just steps back watching
Wait,
as
and then
Laura...
it slowly dawns on the Twisted King. He's talking about the day he betrayed him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you son of a bitch. Literally signifying he got it in his eyes.
And wanna know something? How he looks at... And he's looking at the Connie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wanna know what the next feeling he fucking feels?
What?
Whatever eyes he has fold in and collapse on themselves.
Damn.
As he can feel his body changing rapidly. He's gaining extra limbs coming out of his back that
Something
are
tells me he's being reimagined, so even when he does go back to normal, there'll be a reimagined version of him here in the Void Shaper realm.
Mm-hmm. And all he hears is in his head is just single words. New friend. New friend.
And inside where the Twisted King is his normal self inside his head, he's like, ah, why?
And the thing in his head just says, "You hurt people. You hurt friend. Now friend hurts you like you hurt friends. But worse.
And and he's literally losing his fucking marbles, even more than he already was.
Wanna know how long this goes for?
How long?
3 fucking weeks until his transformation is finally finished.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
The beast gave him 3 months to do whatever he wanted with him.
And the transformation finished in 3 weeks. Wanna know what he looks like now?
What?
Imagine, if you will, his entire upper half is like a praying mantis.
Ah.
But yet he still has the features of his former body in there too. He doesn't have a mouth anymore, but instead he has 2 mandibles to form a gaping maw.
Well, technically, I never actually described the Twisted King. The base way to explain him is so my main character looks like a gesture.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look like a gesture. The only thing that he had was the mask, aka
Mm-hmm.
the clown mask. So yeah, he had a mask that's always a part of him. He did have, instead of a gesture hat though, he had a fedora and a 1930s-esque look to him,
Mm.
and that weird crown and a twisted cane. So kind of like a weird version of Alistair if he wore a mask.
Mm.
Because the mask is the face. They have no face under there. The only thing under there is whatever your worst nightmare is.
And the company has no worst nightmare.
I know, so it's no fun to use on the comedy.
Mm-hmm. Now,
But it
how
also
does...
works in reverse. If you were to put a mirror up to the person after removing the mask, it would work in reverse.
Mm.
His greatest weakness.
Oh. So want me to continue with how the Twisted King looks now?
Sure.
See, his upper body looks like a fucking malformed praying mantis. Elongated and insected-like with segmented limbs.
Ah,
And razor-sharp claws, of course.
nice.
His torso is adorned with eerie, bioluminescent patterns reminiscent of an octopus's skin, pulsating with an otherworldly glow, while tentacle-like appendages extend from the back, writhing and twisting with sinister intent. While the head is an amalgamation of both eyes, or both creatures.
Damn.
This got into some Eldritch horror shit real quick.
Almost worse than Dr. Buxton, which I'm only curious on what a reimagined version of Dr. Buxton would look like.
Oh, I don't even know. And of course, the only thing pounding down on the Twisted King now
Mm-hmm.
is pretty much his own instinct of what is him anymore. Driving insanity through insanity. Ain't that some shit?
That's something. But it seems like we've reached the end of the line here.
Oh, I should mention that the company was also broadcasting the entire transformation as well.
Guess
Through
what?
his visor.
Dr. Buxton recorded it. Is now still helping broadcast it. So I bet you're wondering, what happened to Majesty Steve and Alex? Because
Kind
they
of.
were spared by Dr. Buxton. And
Mm-hmm.
I can just tell that your universe really hates Dr. Buxton now.
Yeah, I would say again, hook, line, and sinker.
Also, you want to know what's even funnier about Dr. Buxton?
Huh?
He found out a use for those Dylan clones.
Oh lord.
and
Also,
guess what he did?
mm,
He turned them into cult followers.
of course. Also, I'm gonna say it again. Hook, line, and sinker. Twice.
Twice. Is that the end of it? Are we done?
Just one little thing.
Oh god. Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna add a tidbit as well.
Yeah, and for those who are actually fucking watching the broadcast, all they can see is like a theater, an old 1900s physical theater, with literally void chambers wearing masks that are similar to the commies instead of sages.
I thought they couldn't see, though.
Not like we do. Again, they see vibrations and shit.
Ah. So the image forms in their head from the vibrations.
Yep.
Oh, then they would hate the director of everything. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's who visited the comedy.
I know.
And his vibrations are everything and nothing. So imagine what that would look like.
Strobe light effect.
They would literally get strobe right, and it'd be like, holy shit!
Yeah, and for those watching the comedies broadcast, all they see is the comedy literally in human form, except for the fact that they can't see his face at all. And he does his little welcoming to one and all. And guess what happens?
What?
He literally unveils the curtains to show the full transformation of the Twisted King's body. And he just looks at the broadcast going back into his normal form, which just says, "Stay tuned," before it cuts. With
And
the most wickedest grin ever.
and I bet you're wondering, what the hell is going on? I got one more tidbit for you here.
Alright.
So, with the Twisted King all wrapped up and busy, and Void Techna on a mental hiatus with a sword, Void Techna is sitting in a space station in a room, and he's talking to the sword. He's like, "What the fuck do we do?"
Lord Necrons just says, adapt. Change plans and adapt.
He composes himself. Yes, of course. And as more void of he has more void thralls, and guess where he is right now?
Where?
Another version of Transcendence recruiting more people in the dark, in secret,
Of course.
in space.
Of course.
Because like I said, once that shit got turned into a battery, Void Tech knew and he's like, I'm out of here. And
Mm-hmm.
because his wife can no longer be brought back, the Void Sword is his only lifeline to some sanity of some sort. And I bet you're wondering, what happened to Indigo Yellow?
Kind of.
The Singularity teleported him out and saved him. I don't know where they went.
Don't
I'll
know.
let you decide where that happens. But they're outside of their own universe
Oh.
now. With some of the rebels.
I will fill you in on that later.
Because their own home universe is being used as a battery for Dr. Buxton. And now that he
How?
has solidness, that means he's back in business.
I'll fill you in on that later.
And I bet you're wondering, where the hell is Dr. Buxton?
Kind of.
So as we wrap it up here, Dr. Buxton is sitting on the throne of the Broken Incarnate, and he's telling the Broken Incarnate, the, the Twisted King has left me in charge temporarily. We will be in alliance together. And here's the thing. Now that he has physical form, one of his newest powers activates. He puts on a pair of glasses and broadcasts himself, and he basically brainwashes all of the Broken Incarnate to help him.
And the comedy giving no fucks.
Yep. And
What?
that means Dr. Buxton is officially the newest threat. threat level Delta. And the end for now. To be continued.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Noel, before we close all this out?
Awesome. One is about the form that the company gave to Twisted King.
Sure.
The form he gave him is also a representation of betrayal.
Oh, dear God.
Mm-hmm. Because, praying mantis and octopus. Something of the sea and something of the land.
Mm.
How do your characters who have watched the full thing feel about the comedy now?
Don't fuck with him, 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 don't fuck with him. Don't
I
fuck with
feel like hmm?
the Beast, though, aka the director of everything, fucking hell no. He just doesn't care. He genuinely doesn't care. He says fucking hell no, but that just means he's not going to fuck with the comedy unless given an actual reason. Because remember, he is more powerful than the true creator at this point. But
And also the fact that the comedy revealed that he was mind fucking around with the Twisted King before he even met him.
yeah. I wonder what would happen if he never betrayed the company, though.
Then it would be a 50 chance of him still. Actually, yeah. Come to think of it, if he never betrayed him, he would never get void shaped. Because the whole thing was a test to see if he was a betrayer or not. The whole fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Anywho.
I feel like the Eternal Judge is just like somewhat traumatized.
He kinda is, but also he threw up like 5 times during the whole thing. Into a popcorn bag that he spawned for himself.
Yep.
And guess what he threw up?
Hmm.
Rainbows.
Yep.
And mixed with veil.
Yep. And I love how you actually got the riddle like a few seconds after I said it.
Yeah, that took me a hot minute, and then the Twisted King's like, holy fuck. You know what's even funnier? The Twisted King wishes he could change that moment. The Twisted King never really betrays anyone. You know why he did it in the first place?
Hmm.
The reason he did it is because he didn't know if he should. He like you said, he doesn't even know if he can trust his self. Why do you think all his other selves are kind of like deranged?
Yeah, true.
But
And that was
even then
reimagined version of him.
he wasn't sure if he could turn them around. That's the thing. He has no trust. He trusts no one unless you're broken incarnate. He pretends to make deals with others so he can benefit from it. He's not a solid straight one-on-one.
Yep. And the moment he made that deal with the company was his fate sealed.
But there's more about the Twisted King that we'll never know about because, like I said, after this, he might not be the same fully. He might
Mm-hmm.
be even more broken.
And probably traumatized from the comedy.
Oh yeah, he's never making a deal with him ever again.
More like you should never double cross him again.
That too. Or make a deal with him. He's not partnering with him anymore. And with that, I think it's time we end this broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I would like for just to say, don't forget to like and subscribe, and
And eat your shoes.
yes, eat your shoes and tip your waitresses goodly, or they might come after you in the void ship realm. I don't know where I was going with that. They're gonna come after you in the void ship.
Ah, yes, reimagined waitresses.
You imagine waitress. Oh, oh God. All right. And I think that's all for now. So, peace.